Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to IMOLA round number 4, a non-championship race this evening. And, well, we've got a couple of guys out this evening due to load shedding across the country. So, non-championship, so no points for this evening, just some good wholehearted racing and some practice for this evening. And to our one current viewer, good evening, welcome to it. If you can just give me a quick show on the comments section down below on your YouTube, if you could just let me know if the sound quality is coming through okay. On board with Carl Oosthuizen, and we're going to run through all our drivers very, very shortly. you're catching us live on the stream this evening, we're on board with Stefan Wessels and the Ferrari out in P1 at the moment. Remember, this is only free practice, and in fact tonight is a non-championship race. This is round number 4, which would have been a championship points race down at Imola in Italy. Unfortunately, having load shedding in South Africa, a lot of our race drivers have had to withdraw as a result, so we're missing a couple of our favorites in action this evening. Well, we know we've seen the likes of, as I said, on screen at the moment, Stefan Wessels, Carl Oosthuizen is out there, the young man from Meyersdal. We're hoping to see Werner Pretorius, Alan van Graan in the Mercedes-Benz. I know he's out at the moment. There we go. We can see in the pit lane at the moment, it is Carl Oosthuizen. Looks like Alvin Sykes is about to launch and get himself out of the pits. Yeah, Werner is racing tonight. Well, Werner, if you can hear me, good evening. It's good to have you back with us. And to our current viewers, good evening to you guys. There we go. We were just talking about him. The young man from Semcrete that has really done amazing stuff for the sport of eSIM racing. Not only a great contestant and participator in the race, but also a co-sponsor to the race. And we've got some exciting prizes that have just been brought on board by a very special company. We'll be mentioning that a little bit later, so stay tuned. And on your screen now, that beautiful Bentley car number 25, Alvin Sykes, and the guys from Semcrete. Well, there we go, in the Audi. Car number 10, Mir Tempo. Well, it's one of our drivers from all the way from Austria, if I'm not mistaken, Christoph Mir in the Audi, the R8 LMS GT3. Well, not out on circuit at the moment. Let's go back to Owen. And as I said, some exciting news. I'm hoping to get that all through to you this evening. As I said, we're live from Imola. This is free practice. We're 17 minutes down. In fact, we've got just under 17 minutes left. And how's that for track temperature? 38 degrees. So nice and hot down in Italy. I'm broadcasting from Cape Town, South Africa. And if you've just joined us, a hearty good evening to you from Cape Town. Of course, our drivers in the eSIM racing world are unfortunately not racing flat out this evening. Well, we'll still get, we always say when the green light is go, there's racing. And it just, the excitement builds, and of course, that adrenaline just takes over. So I reckon we're in for some good racing. Carl Oosthuizen just obviously checking out some stuff on the car. Let's just see. RTA, the club RTA guys. Donkey 27. Well, everyone knows Donkey. Stefan Wessels. And I hope to see some more guys out there this evening. Well, while the guys out there watch, stay tuned. If you'd like to leave some comments, ask some questions about our drivers, if there's anything you'd like me to just mention, please drop us a line, and we might even have a special guest in the next coming weeks that might just stop by. In the meantime, enjoy the sounds. Well, folks, still in free practice, 13 minutes to go, and just having a look at well, there we go. Just leaving the pits now is Alvin Sykes. 10 minutes and 38 seconds left of the free practice. And thanks to one of our viewers that has liked our feed, we do appreciate all the likes. And if you'd like to leave us some comments and things that you might want to see, please drop us a message and we'll see what we can do. So only a little bit later we'll be able to tell you exactly who's out there this evening. Obviously some changes over the last 24 hours, of course, with the ongoing load shedding by our national power utility. A lot of the guys have had to unfortunately retire prematurely from this race due to load shedding. And the management of the league have decided to make this a non-championship race. The guys are allowed to come and race, but no points will be allocated this evening. So if you've just joined us, a warm welcome. You're still in for some very, very good action. And some of our foreign imports, Stefan Vessels or Kyle, if you guys can hear me out on the live stream, car number 488, if we could just get maybe some history on this guy. There we go, talking about Kyle Westdays and how amazing is this AMG. You'll see it up on your screen in just a second, or you might have pulled over. No, he's still out there on screen. There, you see it up on your screen at the moment. All right, to the folks that are watching, you're gonna lose me for a second or two while I just bring up a couple of things. And there you see, Carl Westhuizen has just disappeared. We've had a server failure. very sad indeed not to be seeing him. He's driving that new Mercedes-Benz. But up on screen in just a second or two, you're going to see the most famous colors of them all. There we go. That pink machine of Anton Refsold. Also a very, very amazing driver. Car number 66, that pink AMG, you cannot miss it. So with only a couple of minutes to go, just something that spent some time on the circuit last night, spent a couple of hours, and just also watching some old races from a year back and 2 years back. And the front engine cars, well, they seem to be much better over those curves out at IMOLA. And they seem to be slightly more grounded if you are very aggressive and use the whole circuit as such. The Ferrari, I spent a lot of time in the new GT Evo last night, and let me tell you, you do not want to clip. You'll see there where Anton just went through that corner. If you just get too much onto those rumble strips and those curbs, it really unsettles the mid-engine cars that you'll see, as I said, just coming through that little chicane. It's those yellow dots, those yellow markers will throw and unsettle the car, and it just gets itself all out of shape. But look at how planted the AMG Merc is. Just having a look for Owen. There we go. The lone Bentley out there, the gentleman of the sport, Alvin Sykes from Johannesburg. Car number 25. And look how beautiful those colors are. I think he's going to do well this evening. Remember, it's a non-championship race to our viewers that are watching. Hello, Steganator SA. We are missing you dearly. And we miss your presence out on the circuit this evening with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. Welcome, Al, and also one of our co-sponsors, just making sure that things run smoothly in the background. And, of course, if you have not checked out any of the things that we do, well, as a commentator and the streamer, go and have a look at Sean Peters. Just going to have a look at my Facebook page. I'll throw a photo up and show you what it looks like in the background. Slightly chaotic again this evening, but you know what? That's what makes live broadcasting super fun. So, Alan, hello to you, and welcome to the stream this evening. Non-championship race, so no points this evening, but I'm pretty sure these guys are going to go hammer and tong around the IMOLA circuit. Beautiful, beautiful circuit. 4.9 kilometers out in a beautiful Italian countryside. Of course, one of the most famous circuits around the world. And, of course, if you're an Anton Senna fan, yeah, this place would certainly hold a place in your heart. Dumbrello turn, that 1994. You'd remember that. So to any of our Formula One fans that are watching, well, this is an incredible circuit. And I spent some time out there last night. Alan, if you're listening, and thanks for that, just giving me a hands up, saying that the sound is great. Going into qualifying. So let's see what it looks like out in qualifying. Well, Alan, just let us know what your predictions are this evening, and you're not allowed to mention your neighbor from Plumstead. Time-wise, just looking at some of the reviews of the track for ACC. Guys talking about the 140s, the 129s. Yeah, that's right, Stiganator. Eskom not doing us any favors. Of course, our national power utility deciding to extend their load shedding. So yeah, in South Africa, if you're listening in from anywhere around the world, we are having load shedding. That's when they cut your power because they don't have any. So on air at the moment, as I was saying, go and check out if you'd like just to see what it looks like in the studio this evening. We've got some very cool things, and of course a thanks to Lester Smith, a very good friend of ours. Lester, if you're listening, how's it, my man? Just getting us the on-air signage and a couple other things that he'll be looking after us over the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much for that. And go and check out that photo. I might even put up that photo a little bit later. So on board with Carl Smith. Oh, Carl Smith. Who the heck is Carl Smith? Stiganator got me all thinking differently. Carl Westhuizen, car number 55. It just shows you when you're doing 500 things at once. Well, now we know what ladies feel like. They're the ones that can multitask, not us guys. All right, there we go. So just doing some things in the background. If you just tuned in and you weren't hearing anybody, well, that was me multitasking. On board with Carl Westhuizen, car number 55, the AMG Merc. You cannot miss that beautiful livery. And remember what I was saying about this course. Now, this is one thing about IMOLA. And these front-engined rear-wheel drive cars seem to have a slightly upper hand. Now, I know I'm going to have some of the enthusiasts wanting to slit my throat here. But those Ferraris, those mid-engine cars, do not like the curbs. So if you're an extremely aggressive driver, you tend to get that car all out of shape very quickly. You'll see that there, how that inside turn just throws. Now, you might be seeing a different angle from me. In fact, you're going to see. Watch how Carl comes through. There we go. Look how that tail just steps out through the chicane up on your screen at the moment. Now, let me tell you, if you're in that Ferrari, maybe we can go on board with the donkey and just have a look at... in fact, I'm going to cross over and just have a look at his run at the moment. Remember, they are in qualifying at the moment. Well, there we go. So, what I want to show you guys, if you have tuned in, now, we know the donkey is extremely, extremely precise. So he's not going to get that car too much up onto those, high onto those curbs. If you stick within the curb limit, there you go. You see what it does to the car. It just unsettles a bit. But he is an exceptionally good driver, so he knows exactly what to do. But if you get it right up onto that yellow strip there, you'll see it there on your screen there, how it just blips the car around. And it will throw you. In fact, it's going to take you for a 6. It's going to knock one out of the park and just unsettle that car completely. So remember, if I tend to get ahead of myself, that's because I'm watching on 3 different screens. I can see slightly quicker than what you guys on the live stream can see. So I'm going to try and just run it through on my screen. Well, there we go. So the donkey has put in a time of 1:43. Now, I was talking earlier, watching some highlights of hot laps around Imola. Guys talking about the 140 mark, and 1 or 2 reviewers actually putting in a 139, but we know that this is not where it's going to rest at the moment. Carl Westhuizen just behind. In fact, these 2 guys run neck on neck through most of the races. Unfortunately, Carl Westhuizen in round number 3, well, if you were down at the Hungary Ring with us 2 weeks ago, you would have seen incident in heat number 2, and just taking most part of the main circuit, or main straightaway, took out most of the wall with him and destroying his car. So very unfortunate. I hope to see him back on podium. In fact, we know he's going to be back on podium. So Alan's saying he's got to be biased to his RTA Familia. There we go. Carl and the Vaninator. Well, let me tell you, Alan, you are going to be missed this evening, bud. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. 3.5 minutes left of quali here down at IMOLA. If you've just joined us, a hearty good evening to you. Welcome to it. It's a Tuesday night. We are racing at IMOLA. Remember, non-championship this evening. Of course, you'll see up on your screen if you are watching those comments there. The Stiginator SA just saying Eskom doing us no favors. In fact, they've done us a horrible injustice, and we lose around here at the beautiful IMOLA circuit out of Italy. 4.9 kilometers of famous raceway circuit. So I've been talking so much that I have almost forgotten to let you guys know about some very cool things that's happening. But in fact, I think I'm going to leave that for the race, and I'll keep you guessing as to what I'm on about. As we're on board with some of our favorites. There we go. I'm just going to pop back to Carl Oosthuizen just for a second. Coming up to the end of our qualifying. RTA Donkey with a 142. Right, folks, it looks like we are back in business. Absolutely crazy as we lost all feed. But hey, the beauty of live television as such. Welcome back to you, Alan van Graan. If you're on the receiving end of the stream, just pop your hand up and say, how's it, bud? On board now with Mr. Mert Tempo in the Audi from Austria. That's Christoph in the number 10 Audi. And if you've just joined us, well, if you heard absolute silence, it's not because Eskom affected me. It was because everything else affected me. Server dropped, and then, of course, all my sound dropped again. So, how's it, everybody? Welcome to the online Outlaws live from IMOLA. This is round number 4. This would have been a championship points race, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, well, actually it was foreseen. Wet coal, I presume. Right, so some big racing out here today at IMOLA. What an amazing track. We were chatting about it in free practice, and if you were around and you're watching that, we're just chatting these mid-engined vehicles like you see up on your screen now. They are slightly trickier to handle around the circuit just due to the size of those curbs. It's quite a heavy curb layout on down at IMOLA down in Italy. And you'll see Christoph just using every part of it. That car very, very low to the ground. He's used every bit. Now, that's what I was talking about there. You see how the car unsettles, and that's going to lose you valuable time. In fact, I actually just want to head on down to car number 2. There we go. This is Anton Refsold out of Johannesburg in car number 66. That beautiful AMG. You cannot miss this thing. And I say it every single week. An incredible, incredible sounding AMG Merc. And a great look at that car. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. If you've just tuned in, these front engine rear-wheel drive Mercs, they are just so stable. I had the privilege of taking one out yesterday. Now you can see how Anton is usually quite an aggressive driver, so it doesn't amaze me that he is actually using the whole of the circuit, but he can do that in this car. The mid-engine cars don't enjoy those big rumble strips. You'll see how he catches it in just a sec on your screen. Thanks, Digginator. We're missing you, bud. We're missing you. And they were just talking about it. Look how grounded that Mercedes-Benz is versus if we go over to, and we will take a look now, but just have a look at how grounded it is. You really can use all of the circuit in the Mercs, and I'll tell you now, that's where you get the advantage. But in saying that, let's move over to, and I promised I wouldn't chat about him too much this evening, but our current champion in the points at the moment, in my personal favorite. Well, there we go. Up on your screen now at the moment, that Ferrari, car number 27. The Ferrari is unstoppable this season. Beautiful car. And as I said, now I took it out last night. If there is anyone listening, Alan, I know you're listening. That car, if you are trying to use all of the circuit, now I'm pretty aggressive on the cars myself, and if you look at those, and you'll see it now as it comes into turn 1, you got to jump on the brakes right there as it starts getting dark. Well, you'll see it now on your screen. Let's just have a look as he passes us, and then he gets down into turn 1 right there where the tar darkens it, so you can jump onto the brakes quite hard into that chicane. You see he does get onto onto the top end of the curb, but he's not using the whole part of that curb, because if you do, you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble with these with the Ferraris. But 5 laps in, on board with the donkey, number 27, GT Evo. That's a 2020 version of the car. Right, let's go back to our friend from Johannesburg, Anton Refsold, in the number 66 AMG. Right, there we go. Back onto Mr. Refsold, the Pink Demon. From there, we go on to Christoph, all the way from Austria, one of our only international drivers out here at the moment. And just have a look at that beautiful sounding V10. Let's just give some volume to that car. Oh, and he's got it all wrong. Well, you'll see it in just a second. I see it before you guys. And I've got to remember this. There you go. There you see him just getting it slightly wrong on your screen as he exits. Well, that's effectively turn number 18, just before he gets up onto the main straight, and being rather aggressive this evening. Right, so if you've just joined our stream this evening, unfortunately, the race that was meant to be IMOLA round number 4 has become a non-championship race. Not to worry, folks, it still is very, very exciting there, and on board with our Austrian driver, Christoph Möhr, in the Audi. We're just going to cross over to one of our co-sponsors to the event. In fact, some news coming out of, well, there you go, there's the car right on your screen at the moment. Alvin Sykes out of Johannesburg. Coming through, and thank you very much. You'll see the man on your screen at the moment, Alvin Sykes. We're going to cross over to the live racing in just a second, and thanks to our sponsors, thank you very much. There we go, back on board with Alvin Sykes. Well, the Lone Ranger in the Bentley, the gentleman of the sport, he's out there at the moment. Car number 25, Albert 80. And I'm surprised I haven't seen Tyron, his brother. He's always a regular to the chat group, and just jumping on board and just having a good old chat to us. And as I said, Imola down in Italy. Myself, Shauna, broadcasting from Cape Town. So wherever you are in South Africa, or if you like our friend from Austria, Christoph Möhr, good evening. Guten Tag. Welcome to round number 4. down from Imola, and what an amazing circuit. Probably the most famous Italian circuit there is. In fact, one of the best European circuits on the calendar. Has been through various changes over the last couple of years, and of course that most famous incident, unfortunately, and it's something that no one really likes to talk about, but the most famous race driver, the most famous incident, Anton Senna, back in 1994. If you followed Formula One back then, I'm giving away my age, that's right. I was a young man back then, but the loss of Anton Senna, the umbrella turn. And if you remember that, just give us a high five if you remember that incident back in 1994, and maybe just let me know where you were when you were watching that Grand Prix, that most famous Grand Prix. Well, while we're talking about that, the Stiganator just greeting our fellow compatriots. Bonjour, bonjour, Captain. And I wish some of these guys could just give their real names so I could meet them in person. Slightly different from the usual commentating I get to do out in the open. On board with Werner. Nice to see Mr. RTA, car number 77. We missed him 2 weeks ago, but he's back. And the car looking absolutely amazing. Up on your screen at the moment. And going through that very tight chicane. And then heading into turn 17, 18, and then you'll see him come up back onto the straightaway as he heads up through turn 19, and then he comes over the line. You'll see that in just a short while. Well, quite a bit of viewers have just joined us. Good evening, welcome to it. We are on board with Werner Pretorius, car number 77. Just looking up at the time, 58 minutes down off the clock already, and track temperature, well, a balmy 38 degrees down at Imola. And if you've just tuned in, well, from myself, Sean, I'm down in Cape Town in the studio. How's it, guys? Hope you're doing okay this evening. So leave us those messages. Tell us where you're tuning in from and who your money's on this evening. Remember, it's a non-championship race. The guys are pretty much using this as a good form of racing flat out, but not going to damage themselves or the cars. And so far, we're missing guys like the Stiganator, good friend of mine, and on board still with Van. Let's see what's happened to Carl Oosthuizen. Now, Carl Oosthuizen, also one of the top-notch e-sim racers in the country, and representing RTA, the RTA Sapper as he's known. Well, I reckon he'd be listening to me now. Carl Oosthuizen, how's it, chum? And you can hear that awesome sounding Mercedes-Benz. Just gearing down for that turn coming up on your screen as we speak. Hard on the brakes, comes down into a tight left-hander. That's turn 17 and 18. Come up through the bend as you come past the pit straight away. At least the pit entrance, and there we go, past Park Ferme and the start and finish line down here at Imola. the guy that I'm going to put up on screen in just a second or two. We're live and we're on board with him down from IMOLA, the circuit down in Italy. You'll see it up on your screen now, the one and only Alvin Sykes, car number 25, that Bentley. He's the only Bentley out there at the moment. There you go, you have him on circuit with you at the moment. So Mr. Owen Sykes, where is your brother this evening? I'm waiting for his comments. He's always the one that throws his hands up and gives you a wave. And I am just going to be away for half a second. So again, not a full championship race this evening. Loads and loads of our amazing race drivers had to withdraw, unfortunately, and this due to the load shedding happening around South Africa at the moment. Right, we are going to jump on board very quickly with the man at the top of the race in the Ferrari, car number 27, RTA Donkey, and of course, aka Stefan Wessels. So if you've just joined us, eSim Racing happening right now from Imola out in Italy, and myself, Sean Peters, and I'm commentating, at least broadcasting this show from Cape Town, South Africa, if you are watching us from anywhere outside of SA. And you'll notice only 5 race cars out there at the moment. Well, we've been hit by devastating load shedding over the last couple of days, and be that as it may, good practice round, a non-championship round for the drivers. This would have been round number 4. And on board with RTA Donkey, aka Stefan Wessels, in the number 27 Ferrari GT. Right, if you've just joined us, a warm welcome to our viewers. I see there are some new viewers that have joined us. Warm welcome, and welcome to Imola. This is round number 4 of the online Outlaws, and thanks for joining our live stream this Tuesday evening. Well, it's a beautiful evening down here in Cape Town, where I'm broadcasting from, but it's even better if you look down at the track at the moment. 38 degrees down in Imola. And fantastic scenes as we're on board with car number 27. We're going to move on down the line from a Cape Town driver through to our Johannesburg friends in the pink AMG Mercedes-Benz of the one and only AR Outlaw number 66, and that is the colors and the AMG Merc of Mr. Refsold himself, Anton Refsold. And if you've only just joined us, I've been chatting right through warm-up and, of course, qualifying. Spent some time last night on IMOLA on the E-circuit and just checking out what it feels like to be in the hot seat, and just checking out some of the footage last night from various hot laps from around the world, from other e-sim races and guys that do reviews, and just making a note that specifically the AMG Merc, the front engine motor with rear-wheel drive configuration, obviously a lot more, wouldn't say easier to drive, but it can use a lot more of those heavy curb. You can see those curbs, look at that there, and you'll see it now on your screen. Anton Refsold uses just about every part of the chicane as he comes down into it. He enters it quite hard. You see right across it there, and it doesn't unsettle the car as much as it would like the Ferrari and also on the Audi, the V10 Audis, just getting themselves out of shape when they hit those high curbs too hard. We're going to just head on down to Werner Pretorius, and we're just talking about how the difference is from the AMG, the Mercedes-Benz, to the Ferrari, the mid-engine Ferrari. Now let's just take a lap or two on board with Werner Pretorius, and he's going to be a lot more careful as he hits those big or high curbs that we have here at IMOLA. You'll see just coming up through turn 18. Nothing too hectic over there as he comes up on to the straightaway and completing another lap of the 4.9 kilometer course here out in IMOLA, and hitting the brake marker right there into turn 1. You'll see now, this is what I was talking about. Very clean. He has to be very clean through there. You do not want to get that whole car up onto that curb. You'll see those yellow markers. If you look now, look at these yellow markers. If you get too much onto that yellow marker, it unsettles the car completely, and it's just going to make you lose a lot of time. And just so sad that we haven't got enough or more people out here. The guys like Parky Farky, Derek Duplessis not here this evening. Alvin Sykes is out there. Benjamin Howdry not here this evening in the Lexus. Sean Skitter, we're missing him this evening, probably out due to the load shedding. Kalen, one of the quickest guys out there at the moment, been watching him in different or other different formats in the eSIM world, and just what a great guy, what a talented guy. Gary van der Hart, not here this evening. Charles Sneer in another Ferrari, also not here this evening. And of course, Vaughan Repsol also not attending the race meeting this evening. Lots of guys being outlawed, if you want to use that word, as Werner comes into the pits. Car number 77. Well, let's get on board with Carl Oosthuizen from Meyersdal, Johannesburg, car number 55. Another one of those amazing Mercs. Just give it a quick listen. just banging through that 6-speed ZF gearbox. 600 horsepower. And Carl Westhuizen making it look rather easy. Well, as always, a shout out to where a shout out is due. Well, thanks to my wife Lizelle sorting out the coffee and the biscuits. It's 8 minutes to 9 where I'm broadcasting from. If you're anywhere else in the world, hello and welcome to the live stream of what was meant to be race number 4 in the championship from IMOLA, Italy. A non-championship race. You'll see only 5 cars out there at the moment, so we're using this as a full practice session for everything from just practicing on the circuit to the behind the scenes, the broadcast itself, the streaming, as we had 1 or 2 issues again this evening, and just ironing them out as we go through the season. So if you're new to watching the online Outlaws, well, a hearty good evening to you folks. Right, there we go. Vadner back on circuit. He was in the pits. Might have just gone in for some setup changes, doing a couple of tweaks to the car, but he's back out on circuit at the moment. Vadner Pretorius. Well, let's have a quick look at what one of our co-sponsors and just all-round great guy is out on the circuit at the moment. There we go. Up on your screen at the moment is Alvin Sykes in the Lone Ranger Bentley. He's the only guy out there in a Bentley at the moment. And if you're new to it, folks, welcome. You look at this car and you think, man, oh man, that Bentley looks heavy, but it's a well-balanced machine, and pretty much it comes in the weight limit of the rest of the cars. 600 horsepower. They all run pretty much the same gearbox. It's a 6-speed ZF box for most of them. And if you know a bit more information about these cars, please drop your comments below and let us know a little bit more about the cars. right, so if you've joined us, we're on board with Alvin Sykes, co-sponsor to the Online Outlaws League, and giving us some headlines this morning, and just letting me know that there's some very, very cool prizes that will go up very, very soon, including 4 very, very cool prizes. And just watch our social streams and, of course, our social media, and we'll get it up and running for you to see those incredible prizes. And you guys can win that if you're on board with us. There we go, Owen Sykes. You'll see it on your screen in just a second or two. He's going to pop down into the pits. There we go, into the pits he goes. So while he goes into the pits, we were just chatting about some of the cool prizes that Owen's been organising. Richard and his team from Black Ribbon have come on board, and we'll be chatting about them through the next couple of races. Of course, this evening not going entirely the way we wanted to, and just purely because a lot of our guys are in areas where Eskom have decided to load shed this evening, and they've extended it until Saturday, I do believe. So, yeah, these guys are going to be very frustrated. Let me tell you, it's not great news, middle of the season, to lose a race due to a technical issue like losing all forms of your electricity at home. But BRS and the Academy, they've come on board with some very cool prizes. We'll chat about that once it's more cast out there, and we'll be putting that onto our various channels and our various streams, and of course our social media. Go and follow it, and I'm sure the guys will get it up on there. And then, of course, go and check out, in fact, I'm going to try and get that up onto your screen very, very shortly. I've been checking out their website. That Sparko equipment is just incredible. If you, like myself, have been into motorsport for most part of my life, unfortunately, just in the latter years, I shifted away from it a bit. But to look at some of the stuff that they do, the Sparko seats, the gloves, even the office chairs. Richard, I've been having a look at that over the last couple of weeks, and we will chat about that very soon. But some very, very cool stuff that they do, and so glad just to have them on board. So just make sure that you keep a lookout on exactly what we're doing through the course of our amazing season, folks. And unfortunately, this evening just not going the way we wanted to go with the load shedding, the current load shedding taking away pretty much 80% of our field. And so rather sad, but let me tell you, great practice if you're out on that circuit tonight, nice and clean. You get some quality time out there. So and then, of course, to our viewers that have joined us, how's it, guys? Taking out some time Tuesday evening. It's 9 o'clock here in Cape Town, and if you're down at the racetrack in IMOLA in the sim world, well, it's 37 degrees, so it's quite a hot day. As we're on board with Anton Refsold, our Joburg race driver. In fact, he races in real life. There we go, Anton Refsold coming into the pits. Let's see what Mr. RTA Donkey 27 is doing at the moment. And will this put him back up into the lead? There we go, on board with him at the moment. Right, we've had no spectators, no viewers talking to us. We had Stiganator a little bit earlier, nobody else. So I'm going to actually get up off my seat and start standing and hop around and jump around and cheer on some of my amazing friends that are out there on the track this evening that do actually have electricity at their home. And Alan, if you are still listening, jump in, mate. Get into your rig. I know you got an eSIM rig at home. Right, there we go. I've been spending a lot of time chatting, or sorry, not chatting, because I can't chat to him just yet. But I've been listening to a lot of podcasts of, in fact, the late Murray Walker, who passed away sadly Friday. But I've also been listening to a lot of podcasts and YouTube clips of Martin Brundle. And the biggest secret to success that he learned as a motorsport commentator, and I'm giving it away here, is that you never sit and talk. You stand and you talk, because you're enthusiastic about the race cars, you're enthusiastic about the sponsors, and of course the race drivers themselves who work hard at getting these cars out on that track. All right, so long race, long stint. We were at just on 30 minutes, and I think it's time for a coffee break. So go grab a coffee, go grab, well, I suppose you can have a beer as well, and come back, join us. We're down at IMOLA in Italy for round number 4. Right back on board with Alvin Sykes. The young gentleman from Johannesburg in car number 25, that beautiful Bentley. And with a non-championship race, it's easy just to drift away and just listen to the cars, which is why I'm giving you guys a gap, just to take it in, listen to the cars, have a look at them. The gameplay on ACC, absolutely amazing. The visuals, incredible. The sound is incredible. And if you've not yet jumped onto one of those proper sims, well, then you're missing out because it's just absolutely incredible. So just under 25 minutes to go of this beautiful race down at IMOLA. What an amazing circuit. 4.95 kilometers of it. An incredible racetrack. World famous. Some of the world's best F1 races have taken place, and some of the saddest ones as well. We've spoken about it earlier if you've just joined us. Of course, those of you that were Anton Senna fans would know about this course, and tragically took his life. And it would be interesting to see who's actually listened to me, because why not just put it in our comments below. Let me know what year that was. What year did we lose Anton Senna at the IMOLA course? And if you can remember that famous turn, we'll drop it in the comments below, folks. It'd be interesting to see who was watching Formula One that day back in. So drop the year, and in fact, if you know the date, don't go and Google it, because we can all do that. On board with Ferdinand Pretorius, car number 77, and you just got to love those Ferrari 488 GT Evos. As I tuck into some good quality coffee, thanks to the missus. Thanks, Lizelle. There's a shout out. Or someone having a bit of a rough day today. On the track is my man Carl Westhuizen, car number 55. You'll see that incredible yellow and blue AMG Mercedes-Benz. And could this be Stefan Wessels coming up to lap him? Yes, indeed it is. So Carl just having a battle with this car. We saw last 2 weeks ago just having a bit of a rough time with the car. And coming together with the wall down at the Hungaroring from Europe, or from Hungary at least 2 weeks ago. Back here this evening. As I said, it is a non-championship race, so there's no points up for grabs this evening. most of our riders, in fact 80% of the field, as you can see, are not here due to our national powers utility that have decided to load shed this evening. So if you've been listening to my stream this evening for Online Outlaws and just keeping you guys up to speed with what's happening, I asked the question and I see no one has come up with an answer yet. It would be interesting to see who was paying attention. And the question was, in what year did Anton Senna tragically lose his life here at IMOLA? And maybe if you can also let me know what that famous corner was. In fact, it was an incredibly fast corner, world famous. Drop it in the comments down below. Right, back to our race driver in the hot seat at the moment, the RTA Donkey, represented by Stefan Wessels, another young man from Cape Town, and his wife Mandy, a couple of months pregnant. How's it, Mandy, if you are listening to us, and hope everything's going okay with you. We missed you this Saturday on the mountain bike. And Stefan Wessels just so super composed. We talk about him every second week. Very, very quick driver. And how real is the sim on this gameplay. You can see the dirt and the marks getting scuffed up on the car as it comes past us. Beautiful clear shots of this 488 Ferrari. In fact, saw one in real life this weekend. What an incredible car. And I know I'm slightly biased as one of my favorites. So let's look further down the field. Remember, this is only basically, it turns out to be, for myself, it turns out to be a practice evening, getting the stream out up and running in time and making sure that it's fluid, making sure that everything works. So if you saw one or two glitches right in the beginning, that's just us testing a couple of different things. And on board with Anton Refsold, another Joburg race driver. In fact, he races in real life, and always good to see him out on circuit. Quite an aggressive young man in a car. As you see him coming through that left-hander, he uses every part of that circuit. There you go, right off. Now, the minute you get your wheel right over that full curb, it loses a lot of time. He's having a good run this evening, but it can cost you precious seconds just getting your tire, or at least your wheel, right over that curb. And if you've just joined us, we've been talking about it all evening. You don't want to get this car. In fact, he does it perfect through there. Very, very well driven this evening. This AMG, you'll see as he comes up on your screen there now through the chicane. Cleanly does it. There we go. Not putting a wheel wrong. Car number 66, Anton Refsold. There we go. On your screen now, Alvin Sykes, Owen, aka the gentleman. Where's your brother tonight? I miss the guys. You can see this is not a championship points race, because we'd have seen a lot more guys commenting. And always great to hear the family shouting out. And look at this now. So you'll see on your screen in just in a moment or two. What else? You look at that in-car shot, you can actually see right into the car. You can see the movement of the steering wheel and how far eSIM racing has come in the last couple of years. Only in the very short space of time, and ACC, just that, so incredible. And to watch it is just as incredible. It's like actually being done at IMOLA. So pretty much an incident-free evening, mostly testing and checking out vehicles and just checking out our broadcasting tools this evening, making sure that everything works. And we've got someone down in Park Ferme at the moment. Alan R. Bad Bull 450 has joined the party, and good to see a Porsche out there. I hope he's going to join us. As we shift away from Eleanor Bad Bull back to RTA Sapphire. Here we go, on your screen now. Carl Westhuizen representing the Joburg bunch. Guys are not actually dicing at the moment. Lap between the two of them. No, there's... Oh, man. That's not what we want to see. And the guys just getting caught up together there. And teammates in the RTSA colours. Not entirely sure what happened. On board now with Werner though. And remember folks, if you're new to watching eSIM racing, they have got these cars set up so there is damage that is incurred and that could cost you valuable time, and also could cost you the race. So you don't want to be going knocking the car. So let's just keep a watch. You can see still grass and dust all over the car as they got themselves tangled up. And look at this. This is close action now. neck on neck. We've just moved on to Carl Oosthuizen's car. That is very, very close. And you can see the scuff marks all over that car. And Wagner will have a mirror full of Carl Oosthuizen's Mercedes-Benz. And there we can see these guys are literally on top of each other coming down the main straight. Now you'll see them coming up through turn 19 as they get up onto the main straight. And they are having a proper dice now. And if you've tuned in and you have not yet been watching us, this is the first bit of real action that's come out of today's race. Remember, as I said right in the beginning, not racing for any points this evening, but these two guys are going at it. And there we go, on board with Carl Oosthuizen. You can see that car's quite scuffed. And up in the distance, in the corner of the screen, you can see Mr. RTSA, the donkey himself, Stefan Wessels, going to come through. And these two guys are still going at it. So incredible scenes. Well, this, I'll tell you what, if this was a race day, this is what people tune into here at IMOLA to see action like this. These two guys are just, in fact, they're just showing off now. This is great racing, although they did tangle about 2 or 3 laps ago. But teammates, they understand each other's race lines fairly well. And watch how they come through turn, this is turn 18. Look at that, Carl Oosthuizen right on his tail. As they come up past the start and finish line, as they head on to turn 1. It's hard on the brakes. Right there, you see the brake lights come on. It's hard into turn 1 through there, and these both drivers not touching those yellow curbs. It's a very high curbstone. It unsettles the car tremendously, so these guys are keeping clear. And we're going to stay on board as RTA Donkey is also in the mix now. So there you can see them coming towards us in camera view. And there's a touch again. These guys are... Let's just see if he gets the car started. You can see fairly battered and bruised at the moment. Wagner Pretorius's Ferrari. You can see the effects of being pushed around and knocked around. He's got the car back up and running. He's out of that gravel pit. Now we've got 7 minutes, just over 7.5 minutes to go. You can see what that car is looking like. It's looking a bit worse for wear at the moment. And I can tell you what, that handling of that car must be dire at the moment. Well, it's where we were watching oval track racing this evening. There was a lot of argy-bargy going on. Carl Oosthuizen, Wagner Pretorius. Man, oh man, you guys are going to need to get those cars back in the panel shop after this evening's race. let's quickly go back up into position, or P3 at least. This is Alvin Sykes. We're going to head on over to him just a second. There we go, up on your screen at the moment. Alvin Sykes, car number 25, the one and only Bentley out there, out of the couple of cars that joined us this evening for this non-championship race from IMOLA down in Italy. And coming up onto the main straight, he comes through that last little kink, they call it turn 19. And here it's just flat out into 6. You get the speed all the way up as you come on down towards turn 1 at quite a pace. You've got to get onto the brakes right there. And you can see it slightly darkens the shade of the tarmac as he enters turn 1 and through that chicane very quickly. And this, I've got to admit, right from the beginning of the season, just watching the Bentley, it's just an incredible car to watch. It always looks so grounded, so planted, and just on a technical spec, it weighs pretty much exactly the same as the Ferrari. I don't think there's much of a weight difference, and all running 600 horsepower motors. GT3 spec with a 6-speed ZF box. And Owen Sykes, also one of our co-sponsors from Semcrete, you see down at the bottom of his screen, along with TGN Racing Simulators, of course, track art just underneath our track this afternoon from IMOLA. And of course, Jamtech projects. If you wonder what they do, well, go check out all their websites. Very easy to go find them. Go look them up, see what they do and what they provide. And of course, just a big shout out to the guys behind the scenes, of course, Stefan Wessels, Anton Refsold, Kyle Westhuizen, Alvin Sykes, and of course, Alan van Graan, and my good friend Lester for hooking me up with a couple of very cool tools in the studio, which I'll put out on my various platforms and my various social media groups. Watch this space, some very cool things coming out. Of course, RDSA Academy, they've come on board. In fact, myself and Alvin will be talking about their stuff in the weeks to come. And of course, Black Ribbon, Richard and his team, go and check out what the guys do there. Well, 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. We're going to head on back to race leader. At the moment, he's kept it clean. Although, if you look at the car on screen, Stefan Wessels' Ferrari is going to need a lot of washing off this race. And I just love the reality and the realism of the game. Incredible stuff. And also to all our sponsors, thanks for joining us for the season. Thanks to the new sponsors that have come on with some very cool prizes. We'll be chatting about it. And of course, you, the folks at home that have joined us for the live stream this evening. We do appreciate it, and thank you very much for joining us, taking time out of your Tuesday evening to watch the online Outlaws sim racing. This was round number 4 from IMOLA, which didn't quite happen as we planned it, and that's purely because of most, in fact 80% of our contestants, so the guys that have entered for the season, were out because of load shedding. So a sad evening, but let me tell you, just great to still be here, being able to chat to you guys, and of course to watch these guys race these beautiful GT3 machines. Well, a time check, we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds. We're going to see what car number 27 can do now. In fact, he is coming up to the chicane. He's right behind Alvin Sykes. He's going to come up to lap him anytime soon through that chicane. Going to come down to turn 17, 18 and 19, and then they head up through the straight, and he's going to come up for possibly his last lap. There we go. As I mentioned, coming up for the last lap. Blue flags are out. Owen Sykes needs to give way to the quicker driver. There we go. Blue flags are out for him. You see the blue flag waving, and Owen does the gentleman thing, moves out of the way nice and easily. Turn 1, turn 2, as Stefan Vessel's car number 27, that beautiful Ferrari, out in his final lap here at IMOLA, or IMOLA as they call it. So to our 3 current viewers, whoever you might be, thanks for joining us, and thanks for sticking around. I can see your average watch time has been very, very good. So thanks very, very much. And very shortly we're going to see Mr. Ferrari, the Cape Townian, come across the line, which would have been win number 4 from 4. Right, so here we go into the kink, turn number 19, coming up to the line. Here we go, taking the checkered flag. Owen Sykes just riding alongside him as Stefan Wessels, the Cape Townian, in car number 27, has just come across the line. And let's have a quick look if we can see Anton Refsold, AR Outlaws, number 66, still out there at the moment. And let's see where he is on the circuit at the moment. Coming up for the last 2 or 3 turns. Those 2 left-handers and then the right-hand kink, known as the final turn. It is really just a kink in the bend. It shifts you up to the right. And here we go, folks. Here he comes across the line. Anton Refsold in second place. Well done, mate. Well done. Right, and that's it. That's it for this evening's races. Server has already told me session has ended. It won't let me do anything. So big thanks to our drivers that came out this evening that could make it. Of course, thanks to our sponsors, TGN Racing Simulators, Track Art, Semcrete, Jamtech Projects, of course, our new kids on the block. And we'll get all their details up very, very shortly. Black Ribbon Sport, the guys that bring us Sparko and some very, very cool prizes. We'll run through that during the course of the next couple of seasons. The guys are doing burnouts there, as you can see. Anton Refsold doing the oval track mastery, and we just love doing donuts, don't we? Of course, RDSA Academy, they've also come on board with some very cool prizes. Myself and Owen will be talking about that. When we talk about Owen, there he is. You'll see on your circuit now the guys are going completely wild. and why the hell not? They can do it. So, folks, for myself, Sean Peters, thank you very much for tuning in. I know it wasn't an official race as such. It was a non-championship points race. Thanks to Carl Oosthuizen, the man in the background that puts all the rulings and all the technical bits and bobs together. Thank you very much to everyone involved in the background. Have a fantastic Tuesday evening, and we'll catch up with you very, very shortly. Hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, things will go back to normal, and we'll have all our race drivers out. Until then, have a fantastic evening from all of us here in Cape Town, and of course from our race drivers down in IMOLA in the sim world. A very, very good evening to you guys. Adios, and we'll see you next time.